Sometimes we just need someone to simply acknowledge our presence, to smile and to say hello, to remind us we exist. It's a quote from Brené Brown. And let me ask you something. When was the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone and spoke to a stranger? I want to start today with a quick story of my own, a moment that seemed small but changed something for me, and it didn't take much, just a smile and a few words. I remember attending an event with my husband and a friend, and we stood chatting, having a drink, and it would have been easy to stay in our group, but it was a networking group, and I had set myself an intention to meet 3 people. So I looked around and I saw a woman standing by herself, and I smiled. Now, it takes sometimes a lot of courage to also reach out to somebody that you don't know. And I went over and I introduced myself. And the first thing she did was smile back and say, "Thank you so much for coming and speaking to me." So today I want to talk about the smile that starts the shift. And I want to connect you with Carlyn Shaw. Carlyn Shaw is a transformation coach, connection catalyst, and the founder of Strangers to Friends. Known for turning life's messiest moments into powerful turning points, Carlyn helps people shift limiting beliefs, trust their intuition, and create authentic relationships, starting with the one they have with themselves. Diagnosed with MS at 19 and having lived through deep personal loss, Carlyn has learned that our stories connect us, our smiles unite us, and it's never too late to start over. Whether through her signature "Whoever Smiles First Wins" shirts or spontaneous soul talks around the world, she's on a mission to help people become their own best friend and live a life they love. Carlyn and I met in person, having connected on LinkedIn. She's traveling the world, and we'll get to talking about that a bit later. But Carlyn, take us back. What moments sparked Strangers to Friends, and what was shifting for you personally at that time?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me here, because I love that we connected in Melbourne when I was traveling, and now I'm in Bali and we get to continue this connection. Strangers to Friends is something I made tangible in 2010. And it was sparked from my knowing that I had been handed a bunch of stories in life: the MS story, the death of my best friends, starting over in new cities. And I had this awareness that when I authentically showed up and shared my story without shame, without fear, without the idea that I needed to hide, and just was me, I kept meeting other people that needed me to share my story so that they could show up and share theirs. And it felt, I didn't know the word synchronicity at the time yet, but then I realized, what is the pattern here? The pattern is, if I keep showing up, more people keep showing up, and we're all connected, and it's our stories that connect us all. So Strangers to Friends, when I first launched it, was a blog of me writing stories of these people that I was meeting that seemed to be right on time because we were showing up authentically.
I love it. And I believe so much about the synchronicity that happens when we find ourselves sitting with someone at a cafe, or I've found myself sitting on an aeroplane with someone and starting a conversation that really has turned into, I feel like we've met before. We've got so much in common. So you call a smile a superpower. What do you see it unlock in people?
Oh gosh, it's everything. So first of all, there's the external way the smile is our superpower. And that is, it's a universal language. No matter where I go in the world, I can smile at somebody and they know that what that means. It's an easy emotion to translate. It varies throughout the world, but it's the first impression we have with somebody is our ability to express our emotions, And so it's just a simple tool that we have in our pocket every single solitary day, whether we have teeth or not. And that's the other part of it. So I have a whole story where I was in an accident in 2012, and I literally lost my smile. Fake, fake, fake. And I had to go on the journey of the acceptance of the decisions I made to get on that bike, which deep down, I knew wasn't the right choice, but I didn't know how to say no. And that's a common journey that many people have. Then I had to accept the smile and the journey that I had to go on to healing. And then I had to decide not to hide because of the smile. And I really went on a literal journey of building my smile from the inside out and letting it not stop me, not having teeth. So I say, whatever it is we have been, there's so many things in life that cause us not to smile. It can be a health change, relationship change, job change. There's a laundry list, and literally as physical as losing your teeth, which I've connected with people all over the world now that it happens and we don't really talk about it. So that moment that we decide to smile for ourselves, that moment that we decide to accept what happened and not allow it to break us, but to make us, and to say there's something to come from this, that is when we become invincible, because we own it, and we're not going to let it, diminish us. So I say, when you own your smile, it's your superpower, because you're just confidently in charge, and you're leading with you, right? And then it's just an open invitation, no matter where we are in the world. Are you going to approach the person that's smiling or not smiling? Are you going to approach the person that greets you warmly or not? Like that doesn't need explanation. Your mama should have taught you right. We all know the power of a smile. It's just, we have to remember it, because we often go around looking at our phone, listening. We're not actually using this ability to express in the ways that we're given this ability to express.
Do you think there's a bit of confidence and courage and fear involved in all of that
Yes.
willingness to have a smile? And when I met you, you had you still had your tooth missing, and so I could imagine that there was a need sometimes or some people would have a need to keep their mouth shut or not want to make assumptions and not smile and give of themselves. What was your experience from going from with a tooth to without a tooth and now back to a tooth? Because I know you were actually wondering whether you would even replace a tooth when we had coffee.
So I'm going to touch on two things, because there's the person without the tooth that struggles smiling, and then there's the person with the tooth that still struggles smiling. I first want to touch on that person, because I think more will relate to that. Okay. I used to say that I was in like the business of smile swapping, of sharing smiles, but I realized I'm actually in the business of creating eye contact. And I think what scares people is often that intimate moment that you have with somebody where you're seeing them and you're being seen at the same time. And a lot of times we dart away, we didn't mean to catch their eye. But the fun thing is, wearing this as my own like science experiment around the world and watching the way people respond to me, I also recognize I can create the invitation should I choose. I don't wear this and scream it and live in it all the time, and when I do wear it, I don't have an expectation you need to see me. But when somebody does see me and they're not smiling and I flash the smile and then they smile back, even if no communication is exchanged, I just left them better than I found them. And I feel good about it. And rarely have I smiled at anybody and they didn't smile back. And at the same
have to let the people who can't see a photo of you, that your t-shirt says whoever smiles first wins.
It's a friendly competition, and it identifies you as approachable, because people that are, and I actually have a few friends that are introverts and struggle with initiating conversation and connection, that have bought the shirt as a tool to kind of force themselves to step into this space of being seen. And each of them has told me hands down, and I don't have a manual on how to use this yet. It's not like that. It's how do you feel comfortable wearing the shirt? And one of them was doing van life around the country, and she would constantly get to these new camps and had to go meet people. And she said, if it wasn't for her shirt, she wouldn't have known how to connect with people, that it really helped because people saw her and were like, it was a coffee table book, right? Then there's the other part that you said without teeth. Now, for your listeners to know, this was my 4th time being toothless. Okay. My accident happened in 2012. And when my accident happened, it's unfair to say I immediately was like, watch out world, here I come toothless. because I was brave without my teeth. I did respond within a few days like that. But the reality was I had been through my own version of hell and back the 3 months leading up to the accident, that the accident was just this icing on the cake you could never have imagined. A physical thing happened, a physical thing happened, a physical thing happened. And when this finally happened, it was like my moment with myself of, okay, you can, all these other things can happen, but I draw the line. You cannot steal my smile. This is where this is where I'm done. And what I didn't expect out of being brave and courageously sharing, my friends were all like, oh, like, are you okay? What happened? And I wasn't okay. I was ambulance to the ER. My face did not look pretty. And I wasn't okay. But people kept asking. And I thought, well, I guess I'm just going to show them because everyone keeps asking. And that's when everyone was like, whoa. And then I realized, what would you want me to not show you? You're asking, you only want me to show you I'm okay if I'm okay. That's not how life works, right? So before I knew it, as I healed, I just started having fun with it. I realized my healing was happening faster the more I accepted it. And Halloween, which is a big holiday in the States, was 2.5 weeks after my accident. And so I thought, well, what do I want to be for Halloween? I want to go as all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. And once I stepped into that, then I thought, oh, well, what do I want my holiday card to be? I'm going to go sit on Santa's lap with a t-shirt on that says, I believe, and send a card without my teeth to my friends. And I just started embracing it, and nobody could make fun of me because I was owning it. So by the time it happened in New Zealand, which was the fourth time my tooth fell out, which was just biting into something soft. I mean, let's just say it was the last thing I was expecting. And it's not that teeth fall out. I think I know what led up to it based on something I was eating the week prior. But I didn't have time to be a victim. I was in the middle of traveling around a foreign country. I had a hike scheduled. I was relocating a camper van. What was I going to do? Stop my life because I didn't have a tooth? I had no choice. I had to go, okay, world, you're about to watch me come to life again because it's been about 5 years since anyone has seen me toothless, but now I'm trekking, the Tongariro crossing across the North Island and I don't have a tooth. And when I met people at the beginning, I did feel like I had to explain it. I thought it was just this like crazy tooth hole. And I thought people were for sure going to see it and like be like, gasp. But what happened was no one seemed to notice it, which was mind blowing to me because it's this tooth. So if you can imagine, if anyone's watching, like this missing, but because I wasn't drawing attention to it, I wasn't drawing their attention to it. And when I did point it out, most often people go, oh my God, I actually didn't really notice it. Or you actually look really great with it. It's not even anything to worry about. Somehow you pull it off because no one willingly is going to lose their tooth. Like life happens, right?
Yes.
And I connected with people all over the world, ranging from gum disease and genetics, ranging from, I drank too much and tripped and fell, allergic reactions to food and hit their face. I mean, the craziest stories. No one asks for it. And so when you can shift the story as this happened, now what? With anything in life, you get a smile back.
Yes. 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 It's a lot to take in and think about there, but I think that's true, is that we can be the ones that get hung up on a particular situation and nobody else is actually really taking any notice of it.
I love what you have on today, but guess what? I wouldn't have even noticed it if you wore something different. It's kind of like,
yeah,
we think everyone is actually, and it took me years to embody this. I mean, self-love was my struggle most of my life, like accepting me. That's why this has been such a powerful flip of my own story to be on this other side, because I struggled all through my adolescence and young adult life, comparing myself to others and this and that and this and that. And now I'm in my 40s and I don't care.
I do think it comes with age. I do think that we mature and we think if you don't like me the way I am now, then that's just fine. That's okay. I know that there was a turning point for me where it just decided that I'm too old to change. And if you don't like me, then that's okay. You don't have to, as Mel Robbins says, just let them.
Yeah, just let them. And then what's the ripple effect is it goes back to strangers to friends. Because I show up authentically without my tooth, I keep meeting people without teeth. Like it's not an accident. I have all these pictures I've met. I miss it. I miss not having a tooth hole because it was a coffee table book, unlike anything else I would ever expect to be a coffee table book. But it brought me to their level in a way that it built trust in a way. When somebody saw me and noticed that I was okay with it, it made them feel comfortable whether I don't know if they were struggling or not. I think they accepted it too. Most people but I have met several people that, you know, don't like their smile. And I know it's my role, part of my purpose to mirror back to them. Has anyone ever told you have a beautiful smile when I can see something is wrong with their smile? Wrong. But here I am without a tooth being able to go, you have a beautiful smile. And people don't tell them that. And so it's like, we also get this ability to leave people better than we found them. And, you know, in all of our tricks that we have and how do we engage with others, like one of my favorite hacks is a compliment. And if you compliment somebody on their smile, watch them smile bigger.
Yeah. Do you notice sometimes though that someone can be smiling with their mouth, but their eyes are not smiling?
I would say there can be a difference between a fake smile and a real smile. And there's some people that just don't like showing their teeth. They only smile like this. I mean, I think I look stranger when I look weird when I do that. And sometimes the hardest part is getting out of bed and smiling. I don't know what's going on in someone's day. No. And it's not me to judge, but I have this annoying trait of mine. Maybe it's annoying that sometimes I walk by people and I just go like this and I just keep walking. Yeah. It's like my little like reminder, because it's not that they're not smiling, but I really think that we live in a world right now more connected, but more disconnected. And we don't see each other the same way we used to see each other, especially with commuters and earbuds in our ears. And we have all these distractions all around us. And sometimes people feel invisible, you know, and so they're not, why smile? No one sees them.
So actually, you talked about that when you were staying in Melbourne, you found that people were so busy on their phones on the public transport that I remember you commenting that it was very disconnected.
I think people are very jaded and disappointed maybe with parts of humanity that they are like, why smile? They're not going to see me or smile back. When that's actually not how it works, you know, like, because your smile is more than just the image and the act of on your face. It's your energy. It's your being. It's how you arrive, you know. And you know, to the person that's the introvert and shy, you're not wrong by not smiling big when you walk into a room. Find the one person you feel comfortable that lights you up and just be present with that person. You don't need to give yourself to everybody, you know. I don't ever want anyone to compare themselves to me and my way of being, but I will say I look at my own journey of how I became this. You know, I never decided one day I'm going to be this. It's just this evolution of my journey. And one of the greatest gifts I have is learning other people's stories and meeting other people. And, you know, when you led in the beginning of this is when was the last time you started a conversation with a stranger? 3 times yesterday that led to really cool conversation. And it was so simple. It was this one gal was sitting in like a swing chair, but it sat 4 people, and all the other seats had like direct sunlight on them. And she was in the shade. And I had this big coconut I wanted to sit and drink. And I just said to her, I go, you have the best seat. All the other ones don't have shade. And she took it upon herself and says, well, do you want to share it with me? So it takes 2 to tango. You know, it does. It's that in acting, we call it yes and we create this open invitation and for the other person to accept. So you can't get discouraged if the other person doesn't willingly take your bait, right? But the right person will, and this is bait. and the right person will see it. And if only one sees it the whole day, great. That one person was the one person meant to receive it. You're not failing if you're wearing a smile shirt and you don't get a lot of smiles. You just have you have awareness of your day of like, oh, what kind of day did I have?
Yeah. My mother used to say that it takes a lot less muscles to smile than it does to frown and be grumpy. And
It
she used to
does.
say that all the time. I must look up the statistics or the number of
Yeah.
muscles involved. Do you
It
know?
is. There's studies on it, and we just I mean, I forget too. I'm human. I don't walk around smiling all the time. When somebody goes, did I win what I win? They always won because I am not walking around like, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, I wear the shirt all the time. This or the tank top. I wear them all the time. I forget I'm wearing them. Like they're just, it's a part of it's like my uniform now, that sometimes when I'm not wearing it, I notice it more because I'm like, oh man, I wish I had my smile shirt on today. Like this is a great group of people. I'd be curious to see if anyone said anything. But when one person does, like just now in Vietnam, it was interesting because Canadians, it was 3 different Canadians that responded to the shirt. And I'm like, oh, what's up with Canadians? Like they didn't know my accent. They didn't know it was my shirt, but for whatever reason, Canadians kept seeing my shirt. Okay, note to self, maybe, so who knows where the method of the madness is?
That's right. That's right. Well, you're in Bali currently, and they're very friendly, smiley people. So I'm sure you'll have some very big
People
conversations
here
there.
don't need me to wear a shirt. I will say there is a smile in their eyes here.
Yes.
Uh, and it's a very, but I did sit with a woman from London who just absolutely loved it she read my shirt. And when I shared with her, it was me and my why. She was like, oh my gosh, we need so much more of that because she comes from a big city. She's not Balinese,
Mm,
not in the tradition in the UK to just smile.
mm.
And the world is heavy right now. So I'm more excited when the travelers I meet resonate with the shirt than the non-English speaking. I mean, I want the shirt in more languages, but I will say the non-English speaking seem to just own it more, that I've, at least in the Asian countries, more
Mm,
than the English speaking.
mm, I think that's
Yeah, it's
probably, I think it's
fascinating.
probably true.
Yeah.
Probably true. Because there's a different sense of community, I think, and a different sense of connection. And I think we get a bit caught up with fear and flight, and whether we should actually smile at someone or whether we're inviting them in and they're a stranger, and we're perhaps brought up to be a bit more self-conscious about who do we reach
We
out
were
to.
raised, don't talk to strangers. At
That's
least in
right.
America, that was literally the mantra. I'm a kid of the 80s. That's how we were raised. Don't do drugs and don't talk to strangers. Drugs and strangers were put into the same category of bad.
Yes.
And so there is an idea that people are out to harm you.
Yes.
And so I think that there is this underlying fear of, I don't want to get hurt, but also I don't want to be rejected. I think the fear of rejection is often one of the things I teach with people is, no one can tell you no unless you ask. If not, you're assuming the story. And if you assume that story that keeps you from somebody, that's just you making that up. Like you don't know, you have no proof. And some of the most scary looking people are the nicest people on the planet, like you've decided this, you are labeling, you are judging. So I want people to be aware, actually, you might think you're protecting yourself. And we do have a sixth sense. We have our intuition. If your intuition says don't speak, okay, great. But make sure it's coming from here and not here. Because if it's
Yeah.
coming from your head, you're creating a story. If it's coming from, and there's a lot of reasons people judge
Mm.
and and
Make assumptions.
make
Yeah,
assumptions.
for sure.
Yeah.
So if you were at one of my events and I got out my conversation starter cards, what could be, who are the 5 people you'd like to have dinner with?
Oh gosh. I've never thought about it, to be honest. I would say Joseph Campbell, his work on the hero's journey and just all of it. I would say Joseph Campbell. I would say I've always been Brene Brown for sure. Brene Brown helped me feel seen. I was already leading with these concepts and hadn't met anybody yet that was actually leading with these concepts. I thought I made them up. And then I discovered someone who put science behind it, right? So I would say Brene Brown. I would say, I mean, there's a part of me that just wants to say Oprah, because I've looked up to her and how that she's brought awareness to topics and brought people. I mean, Oprah kind of explains herself. I would say
they don't have to be on the famous list.
I know. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's so many people that have given so many profound talks that I just want to say, I can't even think of them by name.
So the last two, what would be the qualities you'd be looking for? 3 qualities that you would look for the last 2 people that you would join the table.
Well, there's a lot of people out there like me that show up and give back and connect with people out of the space of service. And I love those people. So anybody that believes in the magic that comes from the vulnerability and the contribution on a bigger level, those are people that I love to learn their idea, like just say, yeah, you get it, you get it, you get it. You know, a lot of times when somebody comments on my shirt and we do take a moment to connect, they end up being that kind of individual. And I get to learn from them in some space. You know, it's the people that dream big and recognize that we co-create our reality and that are doing it too. Because sometimes I feel I don't lead a conventional life, and I've never led a conventional life. And that is what I'm designed to do. Uh-oh, you're gonna sneeze.
Right, it's gone.
Yeah. So it's the dreamers. I just love learning how I'm so blown away by artists that bring their art to life. It never ceases to amaze me. I think every single person on this planet is brave. They're so freaking brave when they do that. And so many do it. And I'm in awe every time I meet somebody that has taken their wild idea and turned it into something that betters the world, and they're actually living their true self. Those are the people I like to play with. And I say your smile vibe attracts your tribe. And very often the people that are drawn to this are people that, whatever their truth is, like you said, they don't have to be famous. It's the person that was in law school that dropped out to go open up an orphanage to help rescue puppies. I don't know. I'm making it up. It's just the person that is bravely, I think our purpose, we seek so much to find our purpose. Our purpose is to be ourselves. And I don't know what that looks like for you, but when you're doing it, freaking high five. It's the person that doesn't have the tooth, that doesn't care. Those are my people.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So if people wanted to connect with you, even though you might be in some other country around the world, I know you have a website and you have social media. So, and we'll put them in the show notes, but what is the best way for them to connect with you?
So my handle is Connect with Carlyn, and Carlyn is spelled Carlyn. So it's Carolyn without the O. So Connect with Carlyn will take you to a site where you can find all things, ways to connect with me. Instagram, Facebook. I have the page. I have all the things. And I put myself out there and say, if you're curious, like, you can hop on my calendar and schedule a connection call, and we can see if there's ways that I can support you in your journey. I have connection sessions if we just want an hour chat to pick my brain on whatever the topic is, whether it's travel, whether it's teeth, whether it's transformation, whatever it is. I make myself available for that. I think that, and more importantly, if you have a friend that you think can benefit from my story of whether it's self-healing with MS, grief, and my approach to things, I think the best thing a friend can do is put them in touch with me, because real healing happens when we're not alone in our story. And if so, you can meet somebody that's just, 3 or 4 steps ahead of you down the road and can give you that helping hand along the path, it's game changing.
Fantastic. And
Yeah.
do you have a quote to finish our conversation? I'm sure we've had a long conversation. We could keep going for a long time, but we need to call it quits. So to finish off, what's your quote?
My quote is, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
Actually, one of my favorite ones. So thank you so much. Safe travels. And I hope we meet again in person in some time
Absolutely.
soon.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.